Thomas, what happens to him in his heart through your song, according to your song?
Well, of all the songs, the song for Thomas is meant to be lifted out of the timeline and given to a modern person. So if someone listens to the whole album, the sonic palette kind of changes when you get to the song for Thomas. It sounds super modern. I love it. There's a lot of programming. And I think that's because I wanted it to be like given as a thought pattern for a modern person who has deconstructed or left the faith. And what I have observed about the deconstruction movement is a lot of times it's people who were kind of all in on organized religion, and then they have a demoralizing experience and kind of can't go back. I think there's a strain of that in deconstruction. I mean, I'm not deconstructed, you know, I'm very constructed, but I think that we could look at Thomas a little bit like that, because Thomas in the scriptures we're told is like, well, unless I see the scars, I'm not going to believe. But like a chapter before in John, he had been like, okay, let's go to Jerusalem and die with him, all in. So I wanted to capture Thomas in that moment of saying, well, there's a line in the song, I've already lost you one time, I can't do it again. So like, I'm not going back there. I'm not going back to believing. This was too painful the first time. So to capture Thomas in that moment of the in-between before he sees the resurrected Christ is what I wanted to capture, and to also very intentionally speak to a person who's deconstructing and just, I don't know, give them a song.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it'll do that or not, but that was where I was, that was my headspace when I wrote it.
Yeah. I think it does exactly that, because the way I experienced the song, which is really all I have, is that the song gives space for that level of hurt.
Yeah.
And it gives permission for that level of pain, and it encourages not to break the communication with God, because Thomas the whole time is praying to, I mean, he's talking to God in the song. So he's really in conversation with God, which very, Psalm 22, my God, why have you forsaken me tone. But there is no rupture in the conversation, which is what deconstruction does, is that it ruptures the conversation as opposed to bringing God the pain that we have, which can be deconstruction. But I've also heard it in the tone of, any great pain, the loss of a dear one, or like when life, we can't make sense of it. We go through such hardship that life doesn't make sense. And that's how I also understood your Thomas song. So, and yet it's called The Living God, right?
Yes.
So the contrast there, we are a people of much contradiction, aren't we?
Yes. Are you the living God? It was really, because that is the story of the scriptures. It's like, we worship a living God. We don't worship a disembodied God. We don't worship an idol. And I think the question about the living God is very specific to Christianity. Do we worship a living God? Yes.